Hello everyone, my name is Hamidatul Fajriyah, but you can call me just Hamida. So right now I want to share my experience joining a course on a Coursera based on Pyram ICC model perspective. And to help me guide and structure my reflection, I use Gibb's reflective cycle model. So before that, we must know about what is Gibb's reflective cycle model. So Gibb's reflective cycle model was developed by Graham Gibbs on 1988, if I'm not mistaken. It's a framework for thinking systematically about learning experience, and it's often used in education and professional development to promote deeper reflection. And the cycle in Gibbs reflective model has 6 stages. The first one is description. In the description, it's like what happened in here, what happened in our experience, and the second one is about feelings. It's about what did we think and feel, and then the third is about what was good or bad about the experience, and then the fourth is about analysis. Analysis is about what meaning can you make of the situation, and then number 5 is a conclusion. It's like what else you have done, and then the last one is about action plan. It's something like if it happened again, and the situation, the experience that you want to share, if that happened again, what would you do? Yeah, something like that. So using these models helped me as a learner not only describe the experience but also make sense of it and how I can improve it in the future. Yeah, so that was the Gibbs reflective cycle model. So let's get back to my reflection. So I recently took the first step Korean course on Coursera. So the name of the course is First Step Korean. That course was developed by Yonsei University, and the course introduced basic Korean vocabulary and then grammar, sentence pattern, a little bit sentence pattern. Yeah, but what really interested me was how the Korean language that taught in the course reflected Korean cultures, such as the use of honorifics and formal speech. Yeah, I analyzed this experience through the Byram ICC model, like what I've said the first, and this made me think more deeply about the skill involved in learning not just a language but also a culture. So, talking about my feeling, at first I was very excited to finally learn Korean from the basic because I really like Korean drama, and this course give me mm, give me material from very basic. But I was also nervous because the Korean writing system, Hangul. I'm sorry if I mispronounce Hangul. Yeah, I guess Hangul. It seemed very complicated, so I feel nervous. However, as I learn, as I more learning about this, I feel excited. Like there was a challenge to overcome, and I was really impressed by the emphasis on politeness in Korean. Like what I've said before, the Korean language taught in this course reflected Korean culture. So the emphasis on politeness, it was something that made me reflect on how language and social behavior are so closely related. I and I felt more curious about why these cultural elements are so important in Korean society and how they compare to my own culture. Overall, my experience with this course was very positive. I appreciated how the lessons were not only about the grammar, about the vocabulary, but also about how to interact with others respectfully in Korean society. However, I felt that the course lacked opportunities for me to reflect on my own cultural background or compare it to what I was learning. And then I realized that while I was developing respect and gaining knowledge about Korean society, I wasn't really encouraged to relate the cultural content I was learning to my own experience. For example, I learned Korean introduced and bow like 안녕하세요. 제 이름은 하미다입니다. 저는 인도네시아 사람입니다. 만나서 반갑습니다. Yeah, something like that. I learned something like that. Sorry if there's mistaken in my pronunciation, but I have tried my best. Well, that's what it was like. But at the same time, I wasn't really thinking about my own culture fit into the situation because of the lack of occasion that prompted reflection or question that would make me recall or compare back my own culture. There is no question like that. And this made me realize that true intercultural learning requires more than just listening and memorizing, but active reflection and comparison was also needed. So, for the conclusion, this course has made me realize that learning a new language also means learning a new way to see the world. I become more aware of how everyday language reflect deeper cultural values and encourage me to more open and respectful when interacting with people from different cultures, different backgrounds. At the same time, it showed me how important it is to not only about others but also reflect on my own cultures. So moving forward, I plan to keep a small reflection journal where I record cultural observation and compare them to my own experience. I also want to there I also want to interact more with Korean people, with Korean speaker, and maybe through a language exchange application maybe to practice the language and real intercultural communication. And lastly, I want to challenge myself to ask more critical questions like why do people behave this way and how is this different or similar to my own cultures, yeah, and so on. When I learn about other cultures again, I want to challenge to ask some critical question because I believe that this mindset will help me become not only a better language learner but also more thoughtful and globally minded person. Well, I think that's enough about my reflection joining course in a Coursera. Thank you for your attention. See you.